wow, there's just so many different insurance products out there. What's a girl to do? Do I buy whole? Do I buy term? Do I buy universal life? Do I buy variable universal life? Wow. That is an excellent question, and we're going to talk about that tonight, okay? So welcome to Tea Time and Insurance Tips with your host, moi, Sybil Green Padilla. I am here every Tuesday night for you to provide you excellent topics, excellent tips on insurance, need to knows about your insurance, spilling the tea on the insurance, fun facts about insurance. So thank you so much for joining me. And we're going to get right in. Now, we do it in a fun and relaxed atmosphere with our tea. You know I love tea, so hope you get your cup of tea. I'm drinking apple tonight. What are you drinking? And we're going to sip tonight, and let's talk. Let's jump right in. So grab your tea, sip with me, and let's talk, okay? So let's jump right in. Now, I'm going to leave a disclaimer out here before I get into anything that I am not pro term tonight. I'm not pro hold tonight, okay? I'm just speaking about both of them. I sell both types of insurance, so I am pro both of them, okay? So I want to be here to provide you information so that you can determine what's going to work best for your family, okay? So I'm not voting on either one, but you need to know and be an educated consumer about which ones do what for your family. And do your own due diligence. I always tell people to do their own research and find out what's going to work for you, because both of them are great in different scenarios, and hopefully we'll talk about that tonight. I did talk about some other kind. We won't talk about those tonight, but if you leave a comment below, let me know if you want some facts or some comparisons with universal lives. We can talk about that maybe on another upload. Okay, but tonight we're going to just do the basics. And by far, hands down, this has to be the most popular question that we do get. Should I buy whole? Should I buy term? So let's jump right in. Now I'm going to talk about term first, okay? These are just basic programs, term. And if you remember the names, that's going to help you remember what they do. Term, if you defined it or look it up in the dictionary, term is for a certain amount of time, for a certain time period, okay? Usually 1 to 30 years, okay? You are going to be provided with insurance to cover you upon your death only during this time period, 1 to 30 years, okay? And then after that, it's gone. All right, so remember, term is a time, a period, okay? Usually 1 to 30 years, all right? So you want to ask yourself, what am I going to be doing in these 1 to 30 years? Well, I'll need a big life insurance policy, because term is really, if you want to save money, guys, term is the way to go. Very, very cost-effective policies, very inexpensive. You can get a lot of insurance for a little bit of money. Now, of course, depending on your age and your health, of course, because you do usually have to need a full paramed for these, a full medical exam to get qualified. Now, some don't require, but some do. So just so you know that, okay? So what are you going to be needing in the for 1 to 30 years where you'll need a large lump sum, okay? Now, before we go into that question, I do want to mention, in far as term, under the umbrella of term, they are group term. Group term is what you're getting on your job. You pay a certain amount in every pay period along with your other fellow employees or your co-workers, and you guys are putting your money into a pot to provide a term life insurance policy for your loved ones if you die during that time, during that term at the job, okay? So that's what it's for, to provide during that time. It's called group term insurance. That's why it's important. You need to know when you leave, the companies know you're going to leave at some point, and they know you are going to go on with your career, change jobs, you're going to retire, and you won't be there. So that's why they opt for the group term. Very inexpensive way to provide coverage for all of their employees, okay? So that's group. Most of you all know about that. There's also what's called level terms. You might heard that term, I don't know. But level terms, if you do this is the only way I can think about it, is you have a line here and it's level. It stays the same, doesn't go up, doesn't go down, it's level for that time period, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, okay? It's leveled. It stays at a same rate, okay? Now, after that level time period is up, you have what's called annual renewable term, okay? So some companies sell those type of terms. That means that your term is going to renew every year. Renew to what? Renew to whatever age you are at that time. So every year, your premiums will go up, okay, based on your age, okay? Because every year we have a birthday, so those terms will go up. Now, the downfall with the terms is sometimes they can get pretty pricey, because usually after those terms or after those time periods, just like remember I told you guys, term is like rental insurance. After that, your lease ends at an apartment. What happens, guys? I heard one of you guys say it. Your lease goes up. Your lease expires, and then your rent usually goes up. So that's what happens with the term products. The terms products end, and the rates go up. Now they're going to adjust those rates now of for you for the last 30 years, and you're paying that same level amount, okay? So now you're 30 years older than you were when you started. So let's say you started it at 20, you're now 30, you're 50 years young now. So now you're going to get a letter in the mail stating that your premiums are going to adjust now to you at the age of 50, 30 years older. All right. And then they'll let you know that the premiums will go up, ART, annual renewable term, every year. Okay. So these are questions that you want to ask the insurance companies so that you won't be bamboozled, you won't be fooled, you won't be tricked into buying these if they are not going to meet your needs. Now, the great reason for these would be to replace income. So in your working years, you're still working. You're going to probably be working for the next 30, maybe more. So these are great plans to have, because if you die, you're going to be leaving that spouse with enough money to take care of the mortgage, probably live 2, 3, 4 years in that beautiful home you bought her. She won't have to uproot her living style or her lifestyle because she doesn't have any money. These are great plans. You can leave $500, even more, to your loved ones and provide a great living for them. So these are great plans to have during your working years to replace your income. You're making 40, 50, 60 more a year. These are great to have, because if you're making $100,000 a year, you get a $500,000 plan or more. You're ensuring that she's going to have your income, even though you're gone. She'll have your income for at least 5 years. Okay, and that's kind of how you do it. You know, kind of calculate that. Okay, so I hope you got the term. Okay, so there's a lot more little incy-bincy tidbit things on the term. So I hope you got that. So the next thing is a whole life. Now, whole life is more of a permanent life insurance policy. So these policies are permanent, and the key word, just like term is temporary, whole life is the very opposite. The key word there is whole, okay? So that means it lasts your whole life. So when you buy these plans, they are going to be a little bit more pricier because, again, they're permanent life insurance. It's like when you buy a house, you spend a little bit more money because this is your house until you decide to sell it, or you decide to move out of it or whatever. These are permanent plans, okay? So it's like buying a house. So you do have a lot more cost when you're buying a home because you have to keep up the upkeep. You might have HOA, you might have a lot of things. Well, with whole life, you're paying one price for the rest of your life. Now, the key point on winning with whole life is if you get it young, you can pretty much almost spend the same amount you may have done on a term without having the worry of it expiring. So the key point is getting it earlier. But say your term ended, in that case scenario I gave 20 to 50, you're 50 now, you're early retiring, or you're getting ready to look at retiring. You've usually paid off your house in 15 years, so you don't have a mortgage, your cars are probably paid off, so you don't really need maybe a $500,000 policy. So you can look at maybe downsizing. Okay, kind of like we do as we get older. We don't need that big $1 million house. We might want to downsize. So you can downsize on your insurance by getting a smaller policy just to cover the bare basics, okay? Which maybe would be your burial costs, leaving a little bit of money for everybody else because, you know, the house is paid off, the cars are paid off, your bills are paid off. So that's where the whole life policies would come into play, okay? So they're more permanent. They're more I call them more cost effective in the long run, okay? Not in the beginning, but in the long run. Now, I do feel like if you get it earlier, it can be very cost effective in the long run and in the short run if you get it early. These are good for kind of like estate planning, okay? So great policies. Both of them are great policies, just depending on what you're needing it for. Whole life policies do accumulate cash value, unlike the terms. You're going to accumulate cash value. Now, I don't sell them because of the cash value. This is insurance, and it should be used for that. But cash value is going to accumulate. Probably, I always say takes about 3 years or so for you to see any type of cash accruing, which you can use that to borrow from while you are living, okay? Now, I don't recommend people borrowing from their policies because if you died and you did not pay that back, it is deducted from your death benefit, okay? So you're constantly pulling from that death benefit. Most people don't pay their loans back, so they're just going to deduct it when you die. And that's going to, like shoot you in the foot. It's going to be what you bought it for, to cover your loved ones, and you've borrowed from it and borrowed from it and borrowed from it. Now there's not enough for them to do what they need to do. So that would be what you want to look at with the whole life insurance. They're great plans. If you borrow from them, pay it back. You do have to pay it back with a little bit of interest, but again, you want to pay it back. If not, it will be deducted, okay? So when you die, also, the cash value does not go to your loved ones, okay? It is only available while you are living. And again, I don't want to mislead anybody. It's not producing 10% on that cash value, very low percentage that they are accumulating. But it is accumulating, okay? Not at a fast rate. So just keep that in mind. So I hope you got a little bit out of that. Let me know if you like the information I'm providing for you. If there's something you want me to especially talk about, let me know. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe. If you're finding any value in what I'm giving you every week, subscribe, like it, share it if you don't mind, and hit that little bell if you want to get the notification when I've uploaded for the next week, okay? So I'm going to tune out now. Thank you, as always, for joining me on Tuesday Tea Time and Insurance Tips, and I will see you next week, okay? Bye-bye. Take a sip. See you next week. Bye-bye.